Design Visionaries, and today I'd like to show a technique that I can use to create a mold from a piece of geometry that needs to be injection molded. Now, when you do injection molding, you usually somebody who's amazing, who can cut these shapes into hardened steel. Well, they cut it into steel, then they harden it. But for this, I just want to make a mold that I'll use in a process where we 3D print the mold and then we put it in a autoclave and literally pull the resin into the mold. This way we can kind of find out how something's going to feel without spending so much money creating an actual mold. So the very first thing I'm going to do, this is what I want molded. The very first thing I'm going to do is go into the product interface command, and that is in the interpart links more product interface, and I'm going to create an interface for this product solid model. I'm going to rename the interface as the model. The model. And say OK. So this part is called the front cover, and now I'm going to make the cavity model and the core from this. Doing the product interface is a wonderful way for me to share the geometry from the front cover, this file, into the cavity and the core. So next, I'm going to create a brand new model called the cavity. Spell it correctly. Hold on. This is an inch file, cavity, and I like white background, so I'm just going to go to the background. White. Okay, so now to bring the product interface in from the front cover, you simply do Home, More, Interface Linker, click on the front cover, and bring in the model. So there we go. So this is a linked body from the front cover, of course. And now I want to make the cavity. The cavity is quite simple. It's really just the outside surfaces of this, plus where I want this to shut off, so to speak. So what I'd like to do is create a block that I will use for the mold base, basically, and then operate on this piece of geometry so it is ready for me to use it as a cutter, so to speak. So what I'm going to do here, this is the easy part, is I'm going to make a little extrusion that is on this face right here, and I'm going to put a rectangular extrusion right there. Finish. And I'm going to go from 0 to some arbitrary number. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to make sure that that's all united together. Right, good. Okay. So that's all one piece. So now what I want to do is fill in all of this geometry so it's one big fat cutter. The core is going to be the more challenging part. So this is the cavity. So what I want to do here is close this top and then do a patch command. So I'm going to say surface, more, and I'm going to do a. Now luckily the pull plane, or I should say the parting line of this particular mold is going to be so easy because it's just going to be this edge right here. So what I'm going to do is say tangent curves. I'm going to grab this interior edge, and it's going to make a nice little plane for me, really. And then what I want to do is fill in all the geometry inside of it. That's best done with a patch command. And patch command is not something I use every single day. So where is my nice little patch command? Here, openings, creates sheet bodies is to plug openings in a set of faces. Nope, nope, that's not the one I want actually. Let's just do this. Patch. Here it is, the patch command. Okay, so in order to proceed, you select the target body. There's the solid. You select the tool. There's that. And you say OK. So what I've just done, as you can see, is I've filled that whole piece of geometry in. Nice, nice. With the patch command. Okay, then I'm almost done. The next thing I'm going to do is make what I call the mold base. And in order to do that, I'll go right to the extrude. I'll select upon this nice flat face. I will create a rectangle. I'll make a uniform offset, so I'll say from here to here is 0.2, from there to there, 0.2, from here to here, 0.2, and finally from there to there, 0.2. There we go. And I'll extrude this straight down like that. If I look at it in the side view, I'll have enough material here so that it will cut out nicely, something in the order of 0.2. And I'll say no boolean. It's a none on that one. Say OK. And so that's my mold base. So finally what I do is subtract the, I'm going to subtract from the target, which is the mold base, the tool, and say OK. Excuse me. So that is the perfect cavity for my mold. Except it has to have a place where the um, resin will be sucked in, and that is something that I really should consider. For this particular one, this is going to be a really quick and easy one. I'm just going to give you the principle, and that is I want a little opening somewhere where the material could flow in. Well, that'll be on the other part. That'll be on the core. Let's say. So I'm just going to leave this the way it is and say save. Let's give it a better color than that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that is the cavity. Next, the core. So, file new, core, model, okay. And of course, the very first thing I do is bring in the body from the front cover. So I say, oh, let me just make it a little easier for you to see. A little white background there. Home, more, wave interface linker, front cover, the model. Say OK. There it is. So now I have to have a protrusion that looks like all of this. And the shutoff is right here where um, I had that first extrusion there, the shutoff, meaning all of this geometry has to come up to the level of this plane. I think it'll be more clear when I do it. So the very first thing I'm going to do is go back to that extrude, and I'm going to put a rectangular patch here, if you will, that. And this time I'm going to extrude it in the opposite direction. So out like that. I'm going to unite that together. Unite. Because what I'm really looking for is all of this internal stuff. And so I can also replace this face with this face. No, that's not really that necessary, but anyway, I don't need any of this on the outside either. I can basically delete all that, but it doesn't matter. So what I really want to do is have the negative, all of this empty space I want as a solid, and everything else should go. The easiest way to do this is by doing an extract command. NX does such a great job of this. Watch this. I'm going to say home, more, extract geometry, and I'm going to extract a region of faces. When you extract a region of faces, you select a seed face, like this, and you select a boundary face. Also, do this, use traverse interior edges. So what's going to happen is from this seed face, everything that touches this seed face, everything that's connected to this seed face is going to become a new sewn together solid. And if I just selected no boundary, everything that's connected to this interior face is like every single surface on the model, and that's not what I want. I just want the interior surfaces, including the interior of this. So what I need to do is provide a boundary face. And so the boundary face will be this face right here, right there. So if you imagine a handful of ants that you place on this seed face and having them crawl everywhere they can, except here, they will select every single surface, right? All the way up to there, all the way up to this boundary face. I also want to hide the original on this. So as soon as I say OK, watch what happens. Boom. This is perfect now. I get a negative space, if you want to call it that, of this whole model. So this is really the core. And but I need it to be solid, so I'm going to do the same trick. Going to the surface. I'm going to go to the bounded plane. Where is it? Bounded plane. I'm going to do tangent curves. So I'll grab all of these curves here, like that. Say OK. And now this is a closed volume. As you can see, if I Control H it, you can see it's a closed volume, but it's not a solid until I sew it. Here's the sew command. I can select that big surface and put a nice little box around all the others. And it says solid body created here. If I say show result, it's just a test. Show result, solid body. Say OK. Beautiful. So now I have the cavity, and I'm almost done with the core. The core needs to have a piece of geometry that I will place together with the cavity. And so the next thing I'm going to do is put a big solid on top of this. So when I place them together, it will do what we want it to do. So I'm going to say what? Extrude. And I'm going to select this big fat face. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before, only with a little bit smarter here. I'm going to use the midpoint command. So I'm going to select this midpoint and midpoint it to there, and this point and midpoint it to there. And so now, all I've got to do is put my point through there, and point through here. And I'm going to extrude that in the upward direction. So, there we go. Yeah, oh, quarter inch is nice. And we'll unite that together. Unite. Okay. Control J. All right, so those are the rudimentary skills that I need to make this whole thing work. There we go. Okay, so now to check it, I have a cavity and a core, and I can bring those into an assembly and do some section cuts. Of course, I still haven't gated it yet. That's going to be an interesting process. To gate this, I'll put some holes in the sides that go up to the top, and that way the gating will be internal and the external will be pristine. What do I mean by that? I'll show you in just a minute. So, so the very next thing to do is say File New. I'm going to call this the mold check. The mold check. Mold check. It's an assembly. I like to put an underscore before the name of an assembly. So when I see it in a folder, the assembly always comes up to the front, to the top, I should say. So, okay. All right. So now to check it, I'm going to say assemblies, add component. I'm going to add the cavity first, and I'm going to fix it in place. Okay. So there's the cavity, prominently displayed. My design visionary's name, or Ziniv Negative Nigadig Nigidi design visionary spelled backward. Good. That comes in, and then I want to bring in the core. So what do? Assemblies, add component, bring in the core, and say OK. It comes in the perfect orientation. As you can see, there's a mismatch. Let me think of why. 0.2. Maybe I measured 0.2 away from the wrong edge. Anyway, let's start section cuts and see what happens. So if I say Control H, you can see that what it's doing doesn't seem right. What's going on? If I do body color, right here, body color, there we go. Oh, so that is the geometry that I want, like so, the gray geometry. It's a little funky. Let me just, I should see blank space in there, and I'm not seeing that, so I'm a little worried. Um, it's really strange. Let's see. Control. Um, that's not working. Oh, oh. For some reason, I'm bringing in a little. I'm bringing in the actual product. What is going on? Mold check the core and the cavity. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to the front cover. No, I'm sorry. Let's go to the cavity. Check that. That's perfect. And there's no other bodies in here. Oh, got to make sure that that linked body is not there. So I'm going to easily go to the reference sets, and I'm going to say, I'm going to create a reference set called AA, and make sure the only solid is that solid. That's right. Okay, then I'm going to go into the core. Good. See, that's still in the core. So I'm going to do reference set, and I'm going to make another reference set and make sure that that's the only solid in that reference set. Then I'm going to go back to the mold check, and I'm going to replace the reference set to AA. There we go. That was easy, an easy fix. Okay, and now let's cut the sections. Control H, and there you can see what we're making, what's actually going to be produced by this mold. Okay, cool. Very cool. So now, if everything is working, I should be able to wave geometry link these pieces of geometry into this mold check, make a block, subtract these two entities from that block, and I should have the perfect housing. Isn't that right? Good. Uh, yeah, let's do that. So the next thing I'm going to do is a little bit of wave geometry linking. That's home, more. Oh, but I'm going to change the layer first. I'm going to go to View, Layer Settings, and I'm going to make layer 10 the work layer, so that everything goes on layer 10 now that I create. Close, and I'm going to say Home, More, Wave Geometry Linker, and I'm going to link these two bodies, this one, thing 1 and thing 2, in an associative manner into my model check, my mold check. And once I do that, I can create a block that looks like this. It'll start here, go to there, like that, and it will be extended downward this way until it hits that face. So I'm going to say, um, until extended, select that face, and I'm going to say no Boolean yet, say okay, and this piece of geometry, which will be colored some nice green, there you go, that doesn't seem to work. What happened? Let's try that again. Oh, so we could take away this cavity and this core. We can hide these linked bodies. Hide, hide. So now we've got what I want to use to create the actual product just as a check. I'm turning it green. There we go. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is bring back this linked body and show it, and I want to subtract that from the model check, if you will. So I'm going to use the subtract command. I'm going to use this is the target, and this is the tool. I'm not going to keep the tool. Okay. So that makes the outside shape. Good, good. Then I'm going to bring back um, the core model, and I'm going to subtract that from model check with a. Uh-oh, what did I do? Oh, I turned the model back in time. So I'm going to say show. Okay. So then another subtract, and the target body is this, and the tool is that, the tool is that, and say okay. Look at that. That shows you that the cavity and core that I made are indeed perfect. That's a really great check. Now, I do want to do one more thing with the core, and what I want to do is gate the core. So I'm going to go to the core model like that, and um, I want to create a way for the resin to flow into the walls. And so the best thing I could think of to do that is to make little passageways that go from here to that face. Okay? And the easiest way to do that is to create a little curved tube, if you will, and then put a chamfer on it. That's going to be child's play because I'm going to create a sketch on this plane right here. I want that to, I want to flip that. So I'm going to, looks like that. Say, okay, good, good. That's in the center. And what I'm going to do is create a little arc. It goes like this. Oops. Goes like this. I want to make the arc perpendicular to this surface here. So I'm going to do an intersect curve on that face there to get that line segment, excuse me, and I'm going to put a point on curve there. This point goes on that curve, and I'm going to do a perpendicularity from there to there. It's kind of a funny thing thinking of an arc as perpendicular to anything, but anyway, so that's where the resin's going to flow right into this shape, yeah? And I'm going to duplicate that on the other side, since this is a symmetric design. Actually, I'll make the solid and I'll duplicate the solid. So, so I want to, yeah, I'll leave it this way. And I'll have a tube created, surface, more, tube, on that little doodad right there. And the tube is going to be of 0.125 diameter. Apply. There we go. And I'll do a mirror. I'll mirror that thing. So home, more, mirror geometry. This geometry about the center plane, like that. Okay. Um, good. And then I'm going to subtract that. And I would do it on the other sides. I'm not going to go through that whole process. I just want to show you this much. So I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to use that these as the tools, this one and this one, and say OK. And then I will also put a generous chamfer on here and on here. So that's where the actual resin will be poured in, and it'll flow in here. And I'd have a bunch of them on this port. So then what would be created from all of this um, a is a case, a front cover with these little things sticking on the inside, and then I would cut them off with a knife. But it wouldn't show on the outside, it would be perfect on the outside. So there you have it. There's the whole litany of things to do to kind of make a mold that you will pour into. You'll need a vacuum chamber so that the resin or whatever you have flows into the cavity. And that's how you do this whole wild thing. Isn't that wonderful? So there you have it. That will be the result. So you could literally 3D print your molds, get a vacuum chamber, make sure that this, you make kind of a reservoir above the two halves, and the resin will flow. Maybe I'll do that in another video. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed these little techniques are incredibly powerful. The ability to do linked bodies, the ability to create your product interface and bring a copy of your front cover into the cavity and core models. It's amazing, how easy it all is, and how well it all works. NX is an incredible tool, incredibly easy to use, and you might say that this falls under the heading of hack and slash. Anyway, again, my name's Steve Samuel from Design Visionaries. Please like and subscribe. Help us out on the channel. And I hope this is very, very helpful to you. Thank you.